a moment because for some reason, I don't know why, but it isn't recording the first bit of, I don't know what my phone's doing. So I'm just going to leave a moment before I start the actual reading, which is chapter 14, A Little Lesson from Kamikaze in Causing Chaos and Confusion. Kamikaze is going to be very good at that. A few minutes earlier, the Alvinsman had run out to the platform above the icy sea and scanned the waters below for any sign of hiccup. "He won't be able to hold his best for long," shrieked Alvin. "Get the Bullguard's searchlights steady on the water." Hundreds of hovering Bullguards illuminated the sea around the great hall, revealing a heaving mass of winter fleshers in a feeding frenzy. "Look, Alvin, my darling! They're eating something," sang the witch happily. "It must be the boy." "I want evidence," shrieked Alvin. "I want a body." He's got this because he's had some difficulty defeating Hiccup in the past. "Anyway, that's not like Hiccup. That's my new coat. Look, it fell off earlier." Recently freed by Snotlout, Gobber and the Dragonwalkers peered out the great hall door, uncertain whether to attack or to escape. There were 22 of them, which wasn't really enough to put up a good fight in a straight battle with thousands and thousands of Alvinsmen. "Wait," hissed the witch, stiffening as if something had stung her. "What's that?" From nowhere at all came the disembodied sound of somebody singing the Hooligan National Anthem. "Up with your sword and try at the gale, ride the rough seas for the waves are your home." "I know that voice," spat the witch. Surely it can't be Valhalla." On the song went, so jolly and as happy and as happy as unconcerned as if the singing were singing round the campfire on Burke. "Winters may freeze, but our hearts do not fail. Hooligan hearts forever." Alvin too had frozen. But that means the Dragonmarkers have found our war bunker." "Impossible!" shrieked the witch. "Unbelievable! Inconceivable!" But the next words were shouted into everyone's ears that were clearly the booming, clear, distinctive tones of Valhallarama, the mighty, Valhallarama the terrible, Valhallarama the great and magnificent warrior. "Attack!" roared the voice of Valhallarama. "Dragonmarkers, attack!" Down swooped the deadly shadow in his invisible arrive. Kamikaze must have had the luck of an inebriated person or a foolish person, for how the deadly shadow made it through that complicated mess of Bullguard lightning bolts without being struck was an absolute miracle. The witch went even nigh whiter than normal. "Valhallarama's forces," she whispered. "Quick, counterattack! And the barricades!" Pandemonium ensued, with the Alvinsmen rushing for their weapons and firing randomly in the air. At something enormous and invisible swooped down and sank a couple of lightning bolts into the great hall and soared upwards again. Fishlegs opened his eyes shakily. "Okay, Kamikaze, I have to admit, that was kind of brilliant." "You see," grinned Kamikaze, "we're an army. We're an entire Dragonmarker army." She winked at him cheekily. "Watch this." Kamikaze took out a handful of little grey pebbles and flung them in 6 different directions. They sailed through the air just like normal little grey pebbles, but when they landed, boom, 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 the little pebbles exploded, clichéing the impression that the town was being attacked in 6 different places by 6 different dragons all at the same time. Boom! The 6th pebble caused a very large explosion indeed, as it scored a direct hit on Alvin's armoury and hit the blacksmith bar, burning merrily away in the middle. "Hooligans forever!" bellowed Kamikaze in what was supposed to be an impression of Stoic the Vast. Sorry. "Hooligans forever!" bellowed Kamikaze in what was supposed to be an impression of Stoic the Vast. Even with the help of the helmet, it came out a bit squeaky. "Your Stoic impression isn't as good as your Valhallarama," advised Fishlegs. "It's about as convincing as your blonde moustache." Blind panic came over the Alvinsmen. "They're using stealth dragons," roared Alvin the Treacherous. "Fire randomly in the air because we won't be able to see them coming. They're coming from the air, you fools, the air!" But it appeared that the Dragonmarkers were attacking from the land as well. "Attack!" yelled Robber the Belch, and the Dragonmarkers that Snotlout had released leapt from the great hall and began to fight the Alvinsmen. They were massively outnumbered, of course, but fortunately most of the Alvinsmen army had already launched into the air on Dragonback to counter an entirely imaginary stealth dragon assault. They They shot randomly in the air, mostly hitting bull guards who then thought they had been hit by dragon markers and started shooting back. So began the battle underneath the waterfall, which, thanks to Kamikaze's brilliance at causing chaos and confusion, mostly consisted of Alvinsmen and bull guards fighting each other rather than the enemy. Chapter 15. We'll have that chapter tomorrow. It's called You Rang, Madam.